Hey everyone, welcome back to Bald Guys with Guns. I'm Rob.
And I'm Jeremy.
And today is a first for our channel. We have a product review that was supplied to us by the company that makes the product.
Right, CVLife.
They make a lot of accessories for pews.
Yes, lots. I mean, bipods,
Bipods, backpacks,
gun cases.
I think they even make like lights and lasers.
Lights, lasers, some pistol red dots.
Yeah.
Some more just rifle scopes too.
Yeah. They do
Introductory.
a lot of different stuff. We have a bipod today.
Guys, this is the first one. Let's give them a little backstory, shall we? So when we started our channel over a year ago now.
Yep, year and a half.
Yeah, we both used CVLife bipods prior to starting our channel.
That's true.
We've used them notoriously for kind of the guns, the hunting rifles where you have the sling attachment.
Yep.
CVLife has a very good, inexpensive bipod that attaches to that sling attachment, and it's lightweight. It does everything you would need to for hunting necessarily. And then if you were throwing it on like a little 22 or something, you know, it was the perfect option because it was not that expensive.
Right. Well, when you're a couple poor boys, average poor boys starting a YouTube channel, you go with the cheap stuff.
Yeah. And over the years now, I mean, on yours at least, I know we've put hundreds, if not a couple thousand rounds through it.
Yep.
Then on multiple different guns,
Well,
on the cheap one.
Just
the
on
cheapest one that they had.
Just on the Ruger.
Yeah.
Probably 500-600 rounds on that bipod.
On that bipod. And it just happened to be that CVLife, you know, reached out to us and said, hey, have you heard of us? We'd like to have you guys do a review on a bipod. And we're like, absolutely, this is what we have. They're like, oh, well, we'd like to send you, you know, a little more upgraded one. So today we have their CVLife. This is the Picatinny rail mount bipod, which is supposed to be compared to kind of your heavier duty, more expensive bipods, with being aluminum rail. You've got the extensions, you've got the 360-degree swivel, but we'll get all into that here shortly.
This is a polymer outer with aluminum legs.
Yes. So, but we want to dive into that here in a little bit. They have been awesome in communications. They've been awesome on any type of questions that we've had so far.
Well, and we also, just in case you've noticed, we added an ARCA to Picatinny mount because most of our rifles now have ARCA rails on them. But also, if you can't tell, this looks very similar to another much more expensive, which we will compare right now.
Yes. So the name on this bipod is CVLife bipod. They do it by the measurements on the legs. This one's going to be a 7-inch leg standard, and it extends to 9 inches. Okay. As Rob had mentioned, the leg itself is an aluminum. This is going to be your polymer, the really hard plastic. You have 2 different size Allens, and as you saw in the unboxing videos, they do provide the Allen screw for your main lug, and then you do have an Allen screw for your small ones if you ever had to tighten down your polymer attachment here. That's it for tools. As Rob mentioned, we did have to find a Picatinny to ARCA rail, and that's just because the rail mounts on our guns have transitioned into ARCA. So that is an option, but if you're running just a standard Picatinny, this will be a direct mount onto any standard Picatinny rail. Let's talk about its comparison, and then we'll start doing side by side. Okay, its comparison, let's just show you again really quick. You're talking girth versus affordable, very expensive, affordable. This is the Accu-tac, very expensive. You know, you're talking a premium style bipod. Same thing, this is going to be a direct ARCA mount rail. So there is no attachment piece. This is direct. The legs on the Accu-tac are a solid aluminum all the way through. The legs on this one, this starts at an 8-inch versus the 7-inch, and this one goes out to 10.5 inches compared to the 9. Okay, so you do get a little more out of this. Weight-wise, this is much heavier, not much heavier, but it's noticeably heavier. Okay, just based on its solid aluminum frame there, that is a big difference. When you're looking at styles, the Accu-tac, very similar. One big Allen. If you remember, the CVLife has the big Allen. They have the smaller Allens for the outer shell. Same with the CVLife. Very unique. They both have the crimp style leg extensions. So as you see when you pull it out, they both just have the little L-lips, those angled brackets. So how they work, when you want to extend, it's just a direct pull, and they'll very easily click into place on where you want them to go. To release that, you will compress the heavy spring that they have located on the side of the leg. You'll compress that, it releases the locking mechanism and allows you to slide it back into wherever you want it to be. Okay, so that is how both of these work. When you look at the more expensive style, the major difference is there's very little gap in the actual locking portion, but overall it's the same. The big difference that you can feel is the spring inside the Accu-tac does pull it back a little harder, so once you release it, it does seem to pull, but if you notice here, it does the same. Okay, it's just a little easier to control it as it goes down. It doesn't instantly pull it back as hard. But they both self-retract once it's pulled out. So that's a nice feature on the legs. The other portion, let's talk about how they contact the ground. The CVLife uses more of a stepping rubber mechanism here. Very durable. And you see us in actual field review, you'll see how we load this bipod very heavily in the dirt. It doesn't slip. This grip works very well on dirt. I imagine it's going to be phenomenal if you're shooting out of a truck bed or on a table or a rock. We kind of did the loosest material. Very pleased. An expensive Accu-tac style, they don't have quite the stepping. Theirs is flat and then it's rounded. That is the major difference. Same thing, it's going to be a rubber. They are both rubber. Footprints pretty much identical. The flat surface Accu-tac will be a larger, but your CVLife will have a better if it's on any type of a tilt. You'll have more surface. Also, one thing you might not know is that the feet on the Accu-tac are replaceable. CVLife are not. Yep. I wonder if that's something that they could do. I don't know. Maybe they can let us know and we'll let you guys know. These ones just screw out. Okay. Oh, yep. See that right there? And they have different. They have like sled feet. They have spike feet. They have different kinds of feet that you can put on them. So that's something that is nice. I can tell you here that these will come off, and whether or not it's replaceable, we don't know. So we'll look into that. Let's talk about the adjustments. On the adjustments, okay, we're talking about where the guns go. So the first adjustment that you have is the angle of your legs, okay? They both work on a rotating style plate where you're going to pull to release it, and then you're going to slide it around and lock it into place. When it's on your gun, you'll typically have it mounted, parallel to your rifle. When you go to use it, you will, lock it into place into the position that you want. So you can see it does a full 180 lock. On this. Same with the Accu-tac. They have that locking mechanism. It's going to do the same thing. You're going to go ahead and just rotate it into the position that you want all the way around. If I can get it, there we go. Theirs isn't quite the full 180. So something there for you guys to see. So this one, when it mounts, it's only going to go one way parallel to the gun. The other one would be for a shooting position. You sure that's not just because this is in the way? Try the other foot. It won't lock. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. The other one, this one has that last little lock all the way around. So you can see right here on the back side, lock 180, lock 45, 90, 45, and then the 180 lock. The Accu-tac only has the, I don't even know what degrees those are, but you can only see it has the 4. This one has the 5. So, nice little feature that CVLife has going for it. Now let's talk about the gun attachments. Your gun is locked on, so you have it mounted to your rifle. Go ahead and show you here. One difference that you can feel, this does have a little more solidity to it, probably just due to the price and how rigid it is. This one's a little easier to go, but it's still, once it locks into place, that thing is locked into place. No matter how hard I try, that's not slipping out. So that is a nice feature on this. Same with this, I can tell you that one's not gonna budge no matter how hard I try, okay? Once that gun, that rifle is resting on here, CVLife, there is on a ball, okay? Theirs is on like a little ball joint, as you can see here. So you can rotate down, back, or I should say up, side to side, however you want to rotate that around. That is how you would be able to articulate your rifle. So if it's on right here, the gun's steady, you're like, let's go down. You can see I'm now angled down. Now I'm going to be a little bit more elevated. I'm going to be tilted to the right, tilted to the left. So nice movement in there. It allows you to go really wherever you want. How to lock the position. You have a little swivel here, a little lever. You can go ahead and do a solid down. Solid down, you're still going to be able to move this if you apply a lot of pressure. So it's probably hard to see, but I can move this when it's locked at the middle. If you apply some real good strong pressure and get it almost to the other side, this thing, it's taking everything I have in there to move it. So it does have a really good lock. However, as you'll see in our videos, on the heavier rifles, you know, maybe above 15 pounds, 20 pounds is about the max for this. That extra weight does allow this to move, and you'll see that as we do a live field test for you. Talking about the Accu-tac, its comparison here, same similar thing. Theirs is not, if you notice right here, it is not on the ball joint. This is just going to be a side-to-side motion. Same thing, it has that level swivel. You can release it, and it's going to allow your movement side to side, okay? There's no front, no back, side to side. So if you want that front to back, you either need to do your leg adjustments or just have to manually tilt that rifle. Same thing, if you go to more of a 40, if you go to a 90 degree angle, this gets stiffer. As you tighten it, it locks into place. You get straight up. This thing, it's not moving either. So similar locking. This one will hold up to heavy rifles, your long range precision custom rifles, more than 15, 20 pounds. Recommend spending the money. If you're doing hunting or kind of intermittent on how you want to shoot, this is definitely a very good option. Rob gives a very good detailed reason in the video you'll see as to what some of the pros and cons are of actually having a full rotationary ball joint here compared to just the side to side. And that's the overview on the CVLife bipod. Let's get you to some real in the field comparisons on the same rifles. On the Ruger Precision, it does have the Arca rail. The Accu-tac, very expensive bipod, has a direct attachment. Very easy to slide on. We'll show you the comparison on the CVLife. What we're going for here is testing durability. You saw how quick that went on. We want to get this thing down. Let's see how it feels on the rifle. So, as you can see here, the rifle is definitely cockeyed. So a quick adjustment on that. On this expensive one is to twist your knob to the right. Now I've got total control of this rifle. I can go ahead and snug that up just a little bit. And let's say I want to have some minor adjustments. We'll go about right there. I can still move it. It's a lot stiffer. Okay. Now let's put all the weight on that bipod. That feels extremely durable. It's not going anywhere. And then if I'm free holding it here, looking at a target 400 yards, no bag. This is all gonna be just bipod in my shoulder here. Let's back this off so we get a quick view. That front of the rifle has no wiggle. Okay, I pull it in, I'm dragging that thing back into me. It's solid. Push it forward hard. It's still pretty solid. There's no wiggle unless it's me or the wind blowing. Very confident in this. That's why you do pay a premium price. Excuse me. Let's compare this to the CVLife. We got our attachment on. Let's see how it does. Not going anywhere, so that's good. Let's test out our legs. Locked into place. That feels pretty solid. Down in the dirt she goes. Go. Let's test. Let's see how we feel here. So we'll go ahead and loosen this. So we've got the mobility. Now the one thing that this bipod does have is I can lift it and articulate it full 360. That was not an option, so that is a nice feature if you needed to go down a little bit more or forward and up. Okay, let's see how stiff she goes. Get that nice and stiff. I'm really pushing and it's got a little bit of movement in there, but I've really got to push that. Let's see what happens if I can be a man here and really tighten that sucker up. That's pretty angled. Okay, I've got to put all my body weight into that to get that to move. Let's see how it feels coming down here. So free hold the gun just like I was. It's resting on the bipod and my shoulder. Wind's picked up a little bit. There's no real easy wiggle room here. This bipod is on an 18-pound gun, so this thing will be pushing it to its limit. It feels very sturdy. Due to the ball at the top, I would say it does have a slight more play in just moving as I push forward into it. You can feel it move a little bit more, but once it gets against that wall, it is solid as solid can be. Pull it back, same thing, you can feel a little bit of play, but once it locks in, it is solid. Really don't have too much bad to say about it. Let's get Rob down here and get one more opinion on the CVLife. He shot that Accu-tac enough.
Okay. I like how easy it is to loosen this. It didn't, I expected it to be stiffer, but when it's on the gun and on the ground, it actually is pretty good. This little lever is actually pretty pliable. I didn't tighten it down all the way. I just want to see how this articulates. I actually like how much give it has at that particular point. I can adjust it and it'll stay in place. Now, the only problem with this, the ball joint, I would say, is now that I have it like level where I want it, if I want to push forward to put pressure on the bipod, it starts to move on that ball joint.
Give it a good pull on that lever
until it hits the wall. What I'm saying is, I like it to be loose enough so that I can adjust my right-left level, right? But the problem with this is that once I do that, I like to put some weight into the bipod, and you can see it has to go and hit that wall. Once it hits the wall, it's fine. So maybe if I just set it up so it's on that wall and then articulate it right-left, yeah, that feels real nice. That actually does feel good when it's that way. Now, if I just figured out where level was and then tightened it up, be a man. Yeah, that thing's not, oh man, yeah, you can put, there's a little bit of wiggle compared to the Accu-tac, but it's so minimal that I would definitely run this bipod on this gun, no problem.
Give us some good back and forth on that.
Like once you get it in place, it really, I mean, it's gonna recoil into you, right? You're gonna have a little bit, I would say it will probably jump just a little bit more than the Accu-tac would because it has that tiny bit of play. But if you put weight behind it and you have good shoulder contact with the butt pad, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Why don't you extend those legs?
They're not as easy to extend as the Accu-tac, I'll tell you that. They're a little stiff, but that might play in over time. It feels just as stiff with the legs out. The extending the legs doesn't change how stiff it is.
Okay, real quick, drop that right leg so it's totally off center, and then use the ball joint to center it. See how that feels. Let's say you're sitting on a rock, right, and you don't want to do the full leg adjustments.
I mean, it's very easy to get it level. It's fine. Again, the only problem you're going to have is you got to get it level, and then you've got to tighten that thing down because the ball joint allows it to move a lot, and you're going to need a second person because once you get your eye off of the reticle, you don't know if you're still centered.
Right.
Yeah, like right now, because I had to take my eye off of it, this thing is canted, and I know it can cant enough to level me out, but I can't reach it, right? Because the gun's so long. So without an extra person there, the one nice thing about the Accu-tac is that I can leave that sort of loose because it only has the right-left tilt.
Right.
The ball joint makes that a little less easy, but it's not a deterrent for me. I would still use this bipod for the money. I mean, this thing is a fraction of the price of the Accu-tac. I would absolutely use this.
Okay, so we are going to watch this 18-pound gun with a CVLife bipod on it.
I mean, it feels real good. If you have it somewhat stiff and then get it level and reach up here just to tighten it down, I believe you'll stay level. Yeah, no issues. That feels real good. I mean, it feels solid. Let's see what the jump feels like when you... Okay, ready? All right, I can say I definitely jumped off target more than I did with the Accu-tac.
Why don't you try putting those legs forward instead of back?
Well, that was when you put weight on this, it moves that ball joint. So, because you want to load the bipod.
Yep.
All right, that's tight. Yeah, as I load it, all right, let's see how this does. That was much better. So when the legs are straight up and down, I was able to stay on better, and they didn't seem to, I seemed to get it tight enough that the ball joint didn't move from that. I could stay on target and see my impact. Yeah, I'd run this. I'd run this on this gun for sure. A heavier gun might make it harder for that ball joint to stay in place. So I would worry a little bit about going too heavy just for that. The legs I don't have an issue with. I think that those are definitely sturdy enough and strong. It's the ball joint and this piece here. If you want to give it any play to mess with being level, those legs are going to move around with the ball joint, and it's going to, so you got to make sure you're level and then tighten that sucker down. But on a gun like this, I'd run it all the time. It'd be a daily driver for me, I think.
So, AR-15, would you put it on there?
It's light enough that it would be fine on an AR, because a lot of times when you're running an AR, you're carrying it around. It's definitely light enough for that. The Accu-tac's way too heavy.
What about a hunting rifle?
Yeah, I'd use that on a hunting rifle. Easy. In fact, that might be its best application. if you have a hunting rifle with a Picatinny rail, or I know that they make this bipod with the stud mount, your sling stud mount. It's a good enough bipod that, like I said, I would run it on this 18 pounder. An AR-15 would be good because it's a light bipod and you can get yourself into a position and adjust. But I think where this would shine is on a hunting rifle. A lightweight, you can load it and it's not taking your weight plus the weight of the gun.
I mean, we are definitely pushing it with, I mean, this 18-pound rifle will test every bipod that we throw on it.
And I think it's just the ball joint. I think everything else on it's fine. But when you have that ball joint with a lighter gun, when you load the bipod, you know, with your shoulder, you don't also have the weight of an 18-pound gun. You have a 9-pound, 10-pound hunting rifle. It's gonna perform a lot better. I would say that's where this would shine, for sure. So as you could see from the video, we like it, but we think that the weight of the gun will depend on how much it will actually function properly.
Right.
I would use a Ruger Precision style gun and lighter, but like my custom rifle that's like 25 pounds, I probably wouldn't put it on that.
Yep.
But as a hunting, from a hunting scenario, I would use that every day of the week. It's lightweight, it is sturdy,
Yep.
and it has a lot more adjustment than those bipods that we use on our hunting rifles currently.
And it's fast to adjust too.
Yeah.
And for the hunting portion, you know, if you're like throwing it on your pack or you're throwing it on a rock or the hood of your truck, you know, having that feature of going just, you know, almost straight down, making it that 90 degree, and then using the weight of the gun to slowly adjust exactly where you want it, that is a huge benefit for those quick transitions.
Yeah.
And even for some precisions, you know, like we've talked about on your Ruger. I would throw it on my Tika that has an MDT chassis that I want it to be more of the long range style rifle. I would use this. I have just the Picatinny one for my MDT. I will 100% be transitioning and using something like this on that rifle for my precision for going on a very inexpensive bipod.
Yep. So we think it's great. We would definitely use it on certain rifles, not everything, but for the money, I mean,
you can't beat it.
You can't beat it for the money.
You can, for the working man's channel,
Yeah.
as that we have been told we are, guys. This is the working man bipod.
So link in the description to Amazon where they exclusively sell these.
Discount code, guys. This is our first one, so please make sure you use it. It's CHY.
Just no, on screen. Use this code.
And the description down below. And
well, there's our very first product review.
Yes.
Let's know what you guys think. Is this worth the money, or is it worth the money to go bigger?
Right. You tell us, but I'm gonna say saving money. Don't shoot it often. Every day, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching.
Always remember
that only
the most beautiful scalps are bald.
We'll see you next time.